Dr. Jeffrey Neal, and in the past 2 years, I coached 3 of the New York Times Summer Reading Contest winners out of 20,000 submissions. 21 of my workshop scholars were runners-up for first prize or were awarded honorable mentions. My seminars are fun and inspirational, and here you can get some of the strategies for free that my award-winning students use. On the first day of class, my writing students are always amazed by the simplicity of the structure I suggest for these short essays. The judges of this contest are interested in your personal connection to the published articles, photos, and videos in the New York Times. And the sandwich structure I'm going to teach you is the best form to do just that. The sandwich structure consists of 3 parts: 2 slices of bread and the fillings. The bottom slice of bread is the personal story with which you begin the essay. The fillings are the analysis in the middle, and the top slice of bread is the conclusion of the personal story. But before we go into the ingredients in your award-winning delicious sandwich, let's talk about what you definitely need to leave out. Forget the gruesome funnel essay you learned in school that begins with some pompous aphorism like, Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. That has nothing to do with what you're going to write about. Or a generalization that says very little. All humans were born to love, and Johnny Depp is no exception. Do not begin this like it is a debate speech that uses a New York Times article as evidence, but is otherwise about a broad topic. Opponents of abortion and pro-choice advocates have debated the ethics of abortion for years. I'm going to argue that. And don't end with an abstract or generalizing throwaway conclusion like, in conclusion, Mr. Brooks' article sets forth a profound argument. So what? In fact, don't ever write in conclusion or in summary. Don't begin your paragraphs with furthermore, nevertheless, or first, secondly, thirdly. The sandwich structure is centered on storytelling, with analysis of the article in the middle. A lot of students, however, struggle with storytelling, and they narrate a personal story that is generic. They think that if you write a bland, anonymous story that could have happened to anybody, that is relatable. Wrong. That's just boring. So I'm going to show you 2 essays on the same article, How to Photograph the Moon. One of these was a runner-up for first prize in 2021. The other perished in the submission bin. I walked from left to right to find the perfect spot, only to end up with a blurry, indescribable photograph of the moon. Every time I went back into my house feeling displeased, I thought, maybe there were too many clouds, or if I just were in a better position. After so many tries, it became obvious to me that it's almost impossible to take a good photo of the moon with a phone. That's a generic story with no concrete details that give a sense of a particular setting or character. It also just rehashes the main idea of the article. It's difficult to get a good picture of the moon. The top slice of bread in this sandwich structure, which is the conclusion, is also bland Wonder Bread with no flavor or texture. In fact, it's not a personal story, just a blah, abstract throwaway ending. Especially now that the world has reopened and a lot of people are back to the workplace, photographing or admiring the moon is a great way to relieve stress or to get your mind off things. Not only this, but you might get a photo you're satisfied with and save a good memory. This conclusion doesn't say anything insightful or profound. It follows a boring funnel essay structure that ends very broad and speaks in abstractions, generalizations, and platitudes. Now, let's see a response essay to the same article, but much better. When scorching summer days gave way to cool, breezy nights at my grandparents' home, my grandmother took me moon gazing. On the field we sat, blades of grass tickling our ankles, our face illuminated by fireflies. The air buzzed with the sound of mosquitoes, along with the occasional hoot of an owl. As we turn our heads upwards, gazing at the glowing crescent and all of its starry friends, my grandmother squeezed my hand and kissed my forehead. This is a beautiful opening that is beautiful in its particulars. We learn that the author used to stargaze with her grandmother, and the author provides a whole grain, nutty, fruity bread in this opening, chock full of concrete details like blades of grass and breezy nights, grass tickling our ankles, faces illuminated by fireflies, the occasional hoot of an owl. In addition, there are details shown not just through those nouns and adjectives, but through strong verbs that give us a sense of the bursting life and action in the scene. The air buzz, the owl hoots, grandmother and author turn their heads, grandmother squeezes her hand, grandmother kisses her forehead. Now for the analysis section. We'll go over this briefly and go into more depth in the next video. It begins with a nice transition. My grandmother always treasured the moon. Malia Wallen does the same. The analysis has a few good quotes that get to the heart of the article, namely that it's very difficult to photograph the luminous and textured surface of the moon. Capturing its beauty is elusive. The writer seizes the idea of elusiveness and ephemerality in the subject of photographing the moon. This is the focus of what she is going to take from the article. She has not deconstructed the whole essay, but she has chosen the most salient points and used a few well-selected and short quotes. You don't want to use block quotes in your analysis. Let's look at the rest of the final slice of bread of the sandwich structure. Unlike the bad example I showed you, this conclusion is able to extrapolate from the experience and avoid a generalizing or vague end. My grandmother passed away just days ago, but I take comfort in the light of the moon. I've realized that it is like human life in the way that, although fleeting and difficult to truly capture, it is beautiful. I'm sure my grandmother understands too. Yes, it does wax philosophical about the ephemeral nature of life and the difficulty in capturing intimacy and fleeting relationships that one feels should last forever. But these observations are grounded in an authentic story about loss. The essay comes full circle to achieve closure by ending with the same story and tying it into the theme of ephemerality and how to photograph the moon. In the next video, we'll get into the analysis paragraph of your essay.